Good evening, everyone. Welcome to night 3 of our budget hearings. Jill, if you want to get things started.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, through you to the members. Thank you for joining us for night 3 to interview the staff again. Nick Navin, Assistant Treasurer Collector, Rodney Conley, Director of Administration and Finance, myself, Joe Cahill, Town Manager. Tonight we have the Select Board Chair, Maureen Bernard. And for staff, we have Chief Jamie Level, Chief Brian Barry, our Town Clerk, Kathy Ellsworth, our Electric Utility Director, Clint Allen, and our DPW Business Office Manager, Angelica Medina. And we are going to, I believe, with your permission, we're going to start with the Town Clerk. We should go pretty quickly.
We'll see.
Oh, you think so?
If the members are so inclined.
We turn our hymnals to page 39.
And I think, so the town clerk budget always, in certain years, appears as though it's gone up significantly. What this really reflects here is that this year we will have 3 elections, state primary, state general, and a local. And so the budgets fluctuate based on the number of elections that need to be staffed. And an exciting piece of change coming to the town clerk's office, although she will be greatly missed. Joyce, who you have all become familiar with in the lobby, is retiring after 20-plus years of service to the town of Danvers. And we will all miss her and her fabulous decorations. Although I hope, and her music. I don't know if you've come in when she has her music playing. It was quite a St. Patrick's Day. So she will be greatly missed. We will be, the board has expressed to us the importance of the customer service piece related to that position. So that is included in this budget going forward. And the clerk is available if you have any questions.
Wally?
I really don't have any, but I will give you the opportunity to talk on your staffing, including Joyce.
So Joyce's, her last day is going to be May 28th. And I'd welcome anybody who wants to stop by and say hello to her and thank her for her service, but we'll surely miss her.
And your assistant town clerk position?
Still in the process of looking for an assistant town clerk, and I don't want to rush the process, so I'm taking my time, working on it.
I'm good.
I don't have any questions. I just did want to thank you for getting that information to me quickly yesterday. That was impressively quick turnaround.
Thank you.
She got us information on the births in Danvers pretty quickly. But other than that, that's it.
No, thank you.
Nothing?
No, they do a fantastic job down there.
There you go.
at the
Okay.
Town clerk's office.
Eric?
Good.
Thank you, Kathy, for everything. Excellent budget.
Thank you.
What Paul said.
I concur. Anything from the audience? Is there a motion?
Move the budget.
Good motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'll just want to mention that we'll have early voting in this room next Saturday on the 25th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then the annual town election is on Tuesday, May 5th at the high school.
Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
Takes care of that.
And we're moving on to the police. Let's see. So you will see here, salaries and wages are contractual obligations, so that's the increase that you will see here. They are on the same renegotiation schedule as the other unions. I think an interesting point that if you want to dig into with the chief, that he shared with the select board, is they were fully staffed for the first time in years, and it lasted all of 14 days before the next retirements came in. So staffing in this department, and I think Mike had kind of, we talked a little bit about it when we were with HR, staffing of both public safety departments has been challenging, and but we are queued up with some great recruits in the academy right now. I want to point out the operating expenses was not as much a cut, but it reveals one of our operational savings related to the budget goals of efficiencies and service provision. And I believe this technically started last year. It was about consolidating the phone systems throughout town buildings. And they were one of the organizations that was on a separate system, so bringing them in and getting it under IT shows up here as a savings of $36,754. And in the capital outlay budget that you approved on Monday night, includes 4 cruisers for the police department. It's here for questions.
Arthur?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Paul?
Just a couple, sometimes I'm repetitive over the year, but is crime basically even, up and down? How do you look at it this year after last year?
We're already seeing an increase in youth complaints already. It's been a warmer spring last few weeks, so we've gotten a lot more youth complaints, so that's something we're addressing. Our last one is probably stay consistency. Our shoplifting at Target, all the stores in the mall, kind of consistent from last year.
More shoplifting? Is that what you,
We see a lot of shoplifting at Target, mostly is our #1 spot probably in town, Walmart. Walmart rotates their loss prevention through different stores. Right now he's in Danvers, so he's been quite busy in increasing our calls for service.
were we or are we still sharing the dispatch with anyone? Or
We have a joint dispatch with the fire department, and that's it, it's just Danvers Police and
nothing
Fire.
out of town though, right?
No, we do not.
Okay. And he said 4 new vehicles, but I think none of them are electric, is that correct?
No, so we do still have our electric pickup, 971. It's running very well, it's doing well. We can get about 16 hours out of it if we need to. Other than that, it's the only electric vehicle we have. We had a series of hybrid vehicles. Unfortunately, they were not holding up to the environment. We've already replaced 2 hybrid batteries. Luckily, they were covered by warranty. If not, they're about $5,000 to $6,000 a piece to replace a battery. So we are going back to all gasoline vehicles because the hybrids just aren't working for us.
Okay, got it. That's it for me. Thank you, Chief. Oh, by the way, thank you for everything you do. I mean, I know we interact with a lot of things outside of FinCom, but it's those things that are related to town hall activities, and appreciate your help.
Thank you.
And your folks and your all those in your department.
Thank you.
Eric?
Yeah, again, I just echo, thank you for the work, a lot of community service work that I see you all doing, so thank you.
Thank you.
Nope, it's a good budget.
Ted?
Real quick, is there a reason, it looks like overtime is increasing a little more than regular wages? Is there
Yes,
a-
so
yeah.
part of the increase is due to just contractual obligations. We also added 16 hours of overtime per officer in the FY '27 budget. The reason for that is that we want to conduct a 16-hour alert training. That stands for Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Training. So what that is 16 hours, of course, 4 hours in the classroom, 12 hours doing scenario-based training. And that is more like classroom portion talks about using tourniquets, how to use quick clot, and then also the actual practical is doing drills inside of a building. So we'd actually have like live drills going inside of a building in town in the community. So that 16 hours cost per us, it's a lot of money. That's why the increase was significant.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Wally?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks, Chief.
Yeah, just, just thinking about it with the details. As a general rule, is the detail pay now more than what most of the patrolmen are getting for overtime, or is overtime more than the detail?
So right now, per the contract, detail rate is time and a half second step sergeant. So that's kind of what they did to kind of
Yeah.
mediate between the patrolmen and lieutenants. So it's a little bit more than a patrolman, but not quite as much as a top step sergeant or lieutenant would make on overtime.
And this is probably getting outside of it, but would there be a value to us? Because I was doing my taxes, I think we got a huge advantage to the fact that there was overtime in terms of, for my wife. And would we be better off, rather than paying the detail rate to those officers, paying them an overtime rate so that they can take advantage of that when it comes to the tax implications?
There's probably a lot of personnel questions behind that I wouldn't be prepared to answer, so
I'm just saying, I mean,
yeah,
just
it'd be
sort of thought-
definitely something to look into.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I'm not a huge savings,
Yeah.
but if
No.
they actually would get more in their pocket based on the idea that if they get that tax deduction for overtime worked, I'm guessing they don't get that for a detail pay. And so,
I don't believe they get for detail pay. And I believe is it capped the first $10,000? I think that was one
Yeah,
I had heard.
I was gonna say, you'd have to look at it, I don't know it, because,
Yeah.
but I think there's an income phase out, and then I think there's an income phase out, and then there's a total, so they might already be chewing through
okay.
it, like,
Yeah,
if it's $10,000, I'm guessing most of them probably have that, something like that.
I would assume most of our workers, guys who work,
yeah.
are already hitting that $10,000 mark.
But it's a good
overtime.
question.
Yeah, yeah,
The
okay,
details are extra.
thanks.
It's a good budget, and just want to comment, it's been nice seeing officers in the square quite a bit in the past couple of months. A couple of them were in the square this afternoon, chatted with them, and they met the parking clerk for the first time. So
Excellent.
I think they learned something, too.
Good.
But it's been nice seeing that. But
Thank you very much.
Mr. Bradstreet, do you have a question?
Bill Bradstreet, Town Meeting Member, Precinct 1. Do the different departments, are they able to submit, I assume, to the town manager a wish list of what they would like to see because they could use it but can't afford it? Do they,
Yes.
do they do talk to you?
Yes, so the budget process starts with their budget, a wish list, and then capital items. We build out a capital plan, 5-year capital plan. So we do start with a wish list. Sometimes they get what they want.
Which is good. I'm looking at someone who has coffee cans full of money, so that's why I'm asking if there's enough money to do.
They don't even have coffee in them anymore, Bill, never mind cash.
Thank you.
Mr. Bates?
Thank you, Bill Bates, Town Meeting Member, Precinct 4. Fabulous department, fabulous budget, 2.73. The only thing is, I hope FinCom would be thinking in the future, and I know the town manager has been thinking about this, we need to do something with a traffic division or a traffic officer. We've got so many car accidents and so much going on with pedestrians and things like that. And the chief is, his monthly updates with the Board of Selectmen is always saying he can only do so much if they're on call. But we need a specific traffic division, and I hope we could do something about that.
Thank you. I think it was a comment, was it not?
Well, I'd love to get a response.
Well, I will say that's something I think you saw after the select board meeting. Select board member Mike Bean and the chief and I have sat down and started discussing it. And I think, it's something that we all understand the importance of the traffic and safety. Right now, the focus is on fully staffing the department. And we are in the middle of a staffing study as well. So we've asked the consultant who is doing that to take a focus with transportation and traffic.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Move the budget.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you. On to the fire department, and so this was actually another fun staffing challenge when I started, but Chief Barry came with proposals for solutions, which I always appreciate very much. They are currently fully staffed, unless it's changed since we spoke earlier. And one of the things that he had proposed to me early on, and we've been able to create, and it's worked very effectively, is a reserve list, so that we can have, because of the time that you were alluding to, the time it takes to bring on public safety officials in particular. We built one up, and I'll let him give the details so I don't mess him up with, I think there were less than 4 or 5 or so who have already moved from the reserve list onto the team, onto the department, and so we're in the process of pulling another list and hopefully getting a few more people in the queue. Our biggest issue here, and you will see in free cash, is overtime. But because they're fully staffed, we're expecting to see a decrease in the use of overtime. The salaries and wages is contractual. The operating expenses went down. It was related to tuition reimbursement. There's a contractual obligation on our part for tuition reimbursement, but also on the personnel's part to notify the department, the chief, if they're pursuing it, and so we were able to reduce it in real time. And I will shout out to the North Shore Community College and the community colleges, because their being free is also helping reduce this line item. And then the capital outlay that you voted on the other day included the 3rd year of the turnout gear replacement. And the chief is here for questions.
Wally?
Want to tell us about your replacement truck and the damage to the old truck and why it all happened?
Sure. So we have, excuse me, we have for a frontline vehicle, the plan that we've had for several years, decades, has when we try to keep a frontline apparatus for about 15 years, and then we replace it and try to get 5-ish or more, hopefully, years out of it as a reserve piece. So last year's budget approved money to replace our engine 2, which was approved. July, that contract was signed. It's about a 2-year lead time, so we'll get that vehicle next year. So unfortunately, one of our spare engines failed. The frame was severely rotted to the point where it actually failed. It's structurally unsound, and repair would be hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the value of it is next to nothing. So we need reserve vehicles for when frontline vehicles get taken out of service, or when we have incidents and we have to call staff back and man additional apparatus to cover the town, or when we use mutual aid and we go to other communities and provide assistance for their incidents. So we were fortunate enough to have a little bit of money left in this year's budget from our capital expenses. We bought 2 fire prevention vehicles, electric vehicles, Mike, and turnout gear. It was year 2 of the turnout gear. So we saved some money. We had a little bit of money left over. We searched high and low, and we found a reasonably priced, gently used fire apparatus. But it's in really good shape. The frame's solid, and mechanically, it's in pretty good shape. So we were able to purchase that. We should have it probably in the town next week, and we hope to run that for the next couple of years until the new vehicle comes in, and then we can retire it.
Thank you.
Question?
What was how much did the replacement cost?
$14,000.
14,000?
So it's a 30-year-old truck. It was from Carver, Massachusetts. So for our 2004 truck that failed, had 160-odd thousand miles on it, 8,000 hours, which is like the big thing you measure on fire trucks and diesel engines, is because they idle so much, and that's wear and tear. That's the equivalent of about 400,000 or 500,000 miles wear and tear on the truck. The truck we bought had 41,000 miles, and it's 2,500 hours, I believe, on it. It's, to quote the dealer, a cream puff. So, it's in really good shape. We checked it out mechanically. The frame is nicer than our engine 2 that's in service right now. It's older, so it doesn't have a lot of the emissions equipment that is troublesome, I guess. We have a lot of problems with the emissions equipment that they put on vehicles today. It's just simpler, and we're going to put a little bit of money into it, but it shouldn't cost, all said and done, over $18,000, $20,000.
Maybe we should buy more of those.
Well, we can, and if it lasts a couple of years.
Missing a couple zeros on the
well
new
worth it,
one.
but, we're optimistic that it'll get us through to the finish line.
I just want to add that we were very careful around the procurement process as well, in case that question is coming. We worked closely with the procurement agent.
Yep.
So we checked all those boxes.
Is it bright yellow like all the ones we had back when that one came in?
It's red.
I just think we should send a thank you note to Carver.
Carver, Massachusetts.
We did. We sent them a check.
All right, that's it for me, thank you.
Mary?
Good budget, just quick question. Why does the tower truck go out on all medical aids?
So it doesn't go out on all medical aids.
Okay.
A medical aid or a still alarm, something that requires one vehicle, the first apparatus to go out of headquarters would be engine 3. The other end of town, the Hathorne end of town, would be engine 2. If those vehicles are tied up, the tower would take the call.
Okay. Just wondering, because it's responded to a couple of medical aids on my street recently, and it's a dead-end street, so they end
Yeah.
up having to back out of the street. And I'm always like, oh, I hope they don't hit a car, a parked car. And I know you're professional drivers, but just
Give us
curious as to, because I have seen it out a lot, especially when I work downtown, but I'm just curious the response. So, thank you.
Nope, good budget, thank you. Thank you, Chief.
I'm good, thank you.
All set?
Anything from the audience? Nova?
Nova Semi Town Meeting Member, Precinct 1. I'm just curious as to the holiday pay. The increase over the past couple of years has been somewhat significant. So I was just curious if that was part of the negotiations of that contract.
So yes, you are correct. That is a contractual obligation. And in this year, it was Christmas Eve became a holiday. So there was one additional holiday, so every firefighter gets that. So that's what it is.
Thank you. Bill?
Bill Bradstreet again, the wish list, I'll ask again. What I've read in the paper several times over months is the turnout gear has caused problems with some firefighters because of what's used in its makeup. Do we have enough money to replace, because you can't repair it, I guess, but replace the turnout gear more often so the firemen don't run into health issues? Because that's what the articles in the papers, there's health issues associated. So do we have enough money to maybe not keep them for 10 years, maybe change them a little quicker than that for the safety of the firefighters, along with the safety of what they do? But,
I think there's two pieces. Yes, we will always take the safety of the firefighters as a priority, always. But I do think, my understanding of the turnout gear health issues are more related to the material used in the turnout gear, and that some of the updated materials that are healthier, I'm looking at the chief to tell me when I'm going wrong, are not, they're not quite as safe. So, but I'll let the chief speak to it a little bit.
and then the other question was, how often, should they be replaced more often? I'll let him answer. We're working on it right now.
It's already a plan in progress. So the replacement schedule, NFPA standards, which is what we try to follow, mandates that gear cannot be worn if it's older than 10 years old. We're on a 7-year replacement plan. So it's usually 7, 8 years. Because honestly, the amount of degradation that our gear gets in 7 years, it's beyond, it's time. So that's that. We have in-house, we have gear washer extractors, so every time the gear is in a hazardous environment, whether it be a fire or some other substance gets on it, it's washed and dried according to NFPA standards. So we have that equipment in-house, and that is, we practice, we follow those standards very closely. The other thing you're referring to is PFAS. Hot topic these days. PFAS is a known carcinogen. It's in a lot of things. It's a forever chemical. So our gear, historically, the gear that I wore when I started my career had PFAS in just about every layer of it. It's a flame retardant. It used to be in furniture. Massachusetts, a few years back, passed a law that you can't have PFAS in furniture anymore. So firefighter gear, ironically enough, has PFAS in it. The gear that we're purchasing now has PFAS only in one layer of the gear. So the outer layer is your fire protection, the inner layer is thermal protection, and in between it, sandwiched, it doesn't touch your skin, is a moisture barrier. PFAS is in that layer. Now, legislation passed that all firefighter turnout gear by 2027 has to be PFAS free. So this is year 3 of us purchasing turnout gear, replacing all our turnout gear. So the first 2 years, there was no discussion of PFAS. This year, it's been a hot topic. We had to make the decision to try the brand-new turnout gear that's PFAS-free, or the gear that we purchased, which is called FreeFAS, which I'm going to call it PFAS Light. So it's not on anything that touches the firefighters. It's encapsulated between the thermal and the outer layer. They've had a lot of troubles with durability. UL testing the gear doesn't have the durability. Instead of lasting 7, 8 years, it's lasting 2 years. A set of turnout gear for a firefighter is $5,000 a set. So I don't know that we want to be replacing it every 2 years. So we made the decision, we talked to the department members in the union, and we made the decision just to buy the free fast gear, let everybody else kind of be the guinea pigs with the new gear, see how it holds up. Another thing that it does is when they remove the PFAS from the gear, the moisture barrier has to be 2 or 3 times as thick. Firefighters are overheating. It doesn't breathe, and you're reducing one inherent risk and adding another one of overexertion, cardiac issues, and things like that. So, hope that answers your question.
Anything else? Is there a motion?
Move the budget.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
And this part I completely hand over to our electric utility director. Thank you, chiefs. Clint out. You want this, or you want to just tell me when to go?
I only have a few slides. We'll make the eye
All
contact.
right, give me the sign.
All right. All right, thank you, Jill. Good evening, FinCom board members. Thanks for coming out this evening. Tonight we're going to be discussing the 2026 calendar year electric division budget. Just as a quick refresher, most of us know that the electric division operates a little bit differently as far as timing goes with the town's budget. We are currently in our calendar year 26 operating budget versus the fiscal year July to July, we're December to December. So in 26, there's a few highlights that I would like to talk about. We'll start right at the top with the purchase power expenses. This is by far the largest or most significant impact on the electric division budget this year. But I would like to go back 1 year ago, possibly tonight, when we discussed the 25 budget. At this time last year, we were going into the calendar year 25 with a $4.4 million surplus in power supply expenses. So essentially what had happened throughout the previous couple of years, we had budgeted money anticipating certain weather conditions, January, December, July, August, our peak months, when we were potentially the most exposed to volatile market wholesale power pricing. We had a few mild years, which is, I know it's hard to even imagine after the last 6 months, but it happened. So we had overcollected over $4 million from the ratepayers. According to the Department of Public Utilities in Massachusetts, as a municipal light plant, we are required to return that money as a make-even to the customer. So we're not allowed to take that $4 million and buy the fire department a new engine or anything like that. We need to give it back to the customers. So last year, we had set the rates as such to return the $4 million. So this year, when we're going up and looking at the calendar year 25, last year, it looks like we had budgeted $13.4 million. That is to keep in mind that $4 million that we had anticipated returning throughout the year to get us back on an even keel going into 26. So our actual power supply expenses with the overcollect factored in are essentially level funded from calendar year 25. We'll go down to the other expenses where if we're looking at calendar year 25, we're 26.3. Here, this year, we're looking at almost a $2 million increase. The largest portion that is driving that is an increase to our transmission costs. So the transmission costs are basically, we have our contracts. We'll go through the pie chart later. Everybody knows, big fan of the pie chart. We have our contracts all over New England and a little bit in Canada, a little bit in New York, and we need to get that power back to Danvers. So we need to pay people that own the transmission lines, the transmission owners, the right to use those lines. That is a cost that has been going up, driven by market conditions for the last couple of years, or going on 3 years. And from what we understand with the system operator that operates the entire grid in New England, that's a cost that's going to continually go up for the foreseeable future. So this year, the costs are up almost $1.4 million. Additionally, we have We are continuing on. As far as our capital projects, our operational, our maintenance projects, we're essentially carrying over what we were working on through the calendar year 25. We are maintaining our depreciation rate, which is the money we use to fund our capital improvement projects, at a 5% rate. And that is largely driven by the Northland Substation project over by the Liberty Tree Mall. So we are actually, this is the final year of that project. If you drive by there, you'll notice the substantive gear is all in place. And you've probably seen our line workers out on the street are working on the getaway circuits that are coming out of that substation. We anticipate going live and cutting over Q3 of this year. So we're excited about that. We also have a number of other circuit reconductoring projects that you've probably seen out on Holton, tying back through, going down towards like Conant, the middle school, and eventually coming back up towards the high school. Ideally, what we're doing with the new Northland substation is we are able to retire some circuits coming out of the very well-loved, antiquated 50-year-old substation at the middle school, that brick structure on the east side of the building. We have 3 circuits coming out of there. We're using this new substation to ideally retire those circuits. Going down to, so our total expenses with all of that said, we are up, take out the 4 million, we're actually up more, around 1.1 million calendar year 25 going into calendar year 26. Our revenue projections, you can see, are up about $7 million. Part of that is to fully recoup the cost for the full power supply, the requisite power supply and the energy that we need to buy to sell through to our customers. This number has been calculated based off of our future load growth for 26, which we are anticipating about a 1% overall growth of bulk sales from 25 over, which is exciting news. We have, for the last number of years, been essentially, since the late, maybe like early 2000 teens, our sales have been overall declining, mostly due to just everything's getting more efficient, which is a good thing, but it means bulk sales have been going down. Electrification is starting to take foot, and we're seeing an uptick in our overall sales. So that drives the revenue up. That includes the adjustment we had back in November for the power supply adjustment. Then it also includes the most recent demand charge adjustment that we have for our large and medium commercial customers that was approved at Municipal Light Board and implemented just this past April 1st. And I think we're good with, can we go to the next one, please? There it is. All right, so, so the pie chart is extra exciting this year. It's always it's always really, it's a shining beacon of hope right here. But this year, 2026 is particularly exciting because if we kind of step around it, we'll start with our Seabrook chunk in the bottom. That's our nuclear base load, Millstone base. So all the blue going around, that's our nuclear base load power contracts. That represents about 54% of our total portfolio. All carbon-free energy, extremely economically efficient. Coming around clockwise into the green, these are our hydro contracts, and we have 4 new 10-year contracts that just went into the portfolio this year. So that's the largest chunk, that dark green, the Brunswick, Fife, Pontook hydros. Coming around to the purple, we have our wind contracts, the Moscow and Saddleback and Canton up in Maine. We have the gold and orange are the solar contracts. Then we have the last slice of the gray. That's the last remaining contractually obligated carbon-based source of energy that we are purchasing for 2026. So as you can see, it's just about 7%. So what I'm getting at is that the electric division is a little bit over 90% fully hedged with non-carbon sources of electricity at all very, very attractive rates. So we're able to keep our rates stable, but we're also able to kind of get away from the gas and the volatile markets that are associated with those types of fuel. Going forward, we are anticipating, you probably can't see it here, but in service next year, we're targeting the landfill school solar, so that will grow the gold piece where we have about roughly 1% of our total portfolio. That'll roughly double that. And then we also have another Granite Wind contract that's coming on. So we're going into the future. We look at our total portfolio on like a 10-year basis. We anticipate the rates with the power supply, aside from transmission, are going to remain very stable, and we are maintaining a really strong hedge of a 90 to 95% position just to keep us out of those market conditions when there's gas constraints and the pricing can go, record high as we saw this past January. I think I might only have 2 slides. Yeah, okay. But I'd be happy to answer any questions at this point.
Great. And just as a reminder to our committee members that this is actually a warrant article. It's warrant article 4 in your warrant books. So while we have the hearing tonight, we will vote on it when we reconvene in 2 weeks for the warrant articles. Arthur?
Yeah, not too much. I just, I'm always happy with what I pay for electricity in this town. Let me just ask a relatively non-important question. When did you switch over the payment process, the payment portal? Was that this past year?
That was the new customer portal?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was last year. I kind of want to bring you up here, Angelica, to pitch this. This was kind of Angelica's pet project. Is that okay, Angelica? Do you mind coming up? Talk about the customer portal. This is your opportunity.
It's a little sensitive to capital letters.
Mike, how do I feel about it?
It doesn't always go well.
So we switched over the customer portals for both electric and water last year, around May, and then this year we just released a mobile app. So you'll see, if you still receive printed bills, you'll see the bill insert double-sided this month. I'm going over the portal features on one side and the mobile app on the other. If you do not get paper bills when you log into the portal, or if you visit danversma.gov, under the business division, I believe, all of our bill inserts are linked as well.
So the app is now available?
Yep, so you can go to the Google Play Store or Apple App Store, and it's just either Danvers Electric or Danvers Water. The electric app is green with a lightning bolt on it. The water one is blue with a water droplet.
And not that I should do all my personal business right now, but.
But go ahead.
So I'll be able to just pay right on the app?
Yep, you can pay right on the app.
See, because before, I used to get a text, and it would say, respond with a letter or whatever, and your bill is paid. And then that stopped.
Okay,
And
so you
then-
can still enroll in text to pay
Well,
if that's your preference.
It's just, and nobody told me, and didn't I get behind, Mike? Wasn't I mad one day in the office?
You were definitely mad when
And then I tried to sign up, and then I couldn't even do it, and I had to call, and they had to, like, oh, you didn't do all capital letters here, or something like that. It was a pain in the neck, but I love
In our
electric.
first day, actually our server went down or something, so the first day of Go Live, my team was very inundated with phone calls.
I'm sure it's going to be great. It just was a rough ride for me to switch over.
I apologize. If you
I
have
think
any
at one point I
questions-
was scared that they were going to shut off my power because I couldn't pay.
I was afraid about my water for the same reason.
They won't shut off your water, trust me.
I'm sure it's going to be great, but now I'm excited because you told me about the app, and I think that's going to make my life much better. So,
All right, thank you.
thanks.
Paul?
I'm good.
Okay, but just, these are probably for my own purposes, but when you talk about revenues on page 58, okay, could you just explain what are the differences between small general, medium general, just.
Sure. So we have 7 different rate classes, which basically, we have our residential class, which are, the home meters, that's our R1s. Our G1 is a small commercial class, so that's basically any commercial customer that uses 10,000 kilowatt hours or less per billing cycle. We have our G2s, which is when we go into our demand customer type of rate, where if you use more than 10,000 kilowatt hours a month and have less than 500 kW demand on your bill, so how much your peak energy usage would look like, that's a G2 customer. That'd be like a Target Walmart, something like that. Then we have our G3 customers, which are our large demand or industrial customers. Those are our folks up on Cherry Hill, Electronics Ave. They're doing some heavy kind of manufacturing type processes.
Okay. And we were talking last night about growth, and have favorable rates for growth. Is the town or the electric department capable of what let's say we had a real demand for, I don't even know what large growth would be in this town, besides whole housing situation or large manufacturing, but we're capable of handling something potentially that big, that large?
Yeah, depending on what the customer's doing, what type of electric usage they'd be looking at, we have thus far not had any issues serving any customers that have come into town.
Right.
But we are proactive in assessing where the grid's going and where we could have some potential increases to electric usage on a grid-wise basis. So we're actually, this year, we're undertaking another 10-year planning study. Our last one was done almost 10 years ago. So that helps us take a look at different load growth scenarios based on, electrification. Is everybody going to go buy an electric car and need to charge it at their house? Are we going to have some sort of, I don't even want to say the word, but if we had a data center that wanted to come into town, like.
No, say it. That's
I said
basically.
it,
Okay.
but these are the types of things that we need to, as the electric utility, we need to be mindful of.
Yeah.
So right now we're assessing one of our major besides like the Northland substation that we're rebuilding over at the mall. We're also looking at our major substation delivery point and looking at adding another 33% of capacity to that station over the next 5 to 6 years.
I think it'd be the last thing we want to hear is, oh, we can't handle it. Once we get a great opportunity, say, and,
And if I may,
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, and correct me if I'm wrong, but something to delineate between is even a large housing apartment complex, the impact on that is significantly less than anything manufacturing or industrial. So,
Good.
yeah, they're not even really comparative. But, so the planning is more so for the industrial.
two more, probably know the answer to the first one, but there's still no way to handle nuclear waste other than burying it in a mountain somewhere. Is that correct?
Correct, or storing it on site is the traditional method that's still being used
What
today.
we're stuck with, basically, even though I like it myself. I like it because from what I hear, but it's always that little extra part that, okay, where are we going to put it? But it seems very, and I totally agree with your pie chart, and I think it's a good move. That little last sliver of carbon, are we going to finally get rid of that in the next, is it next year? Or?
So I have it memorized, so it's okay. The shell piece up on the larger gray piece, the shell contract,
Yeah.
this is the last year for that. That was a 2-year bilateral to get us through a hole in our position. So that is peeling off. The Stony Brook, that's the skinniest one. We actually have an ownership stake in that. So we will be maintaining that one.
Thank you.
Yep.
Eric?
Before Eric goes, can I just mention that while Paul was talking, I found the app, downloaded it, paid my bill, and signed up for pay by text, so, good.
She lives for this.
You could show me how to do that tomorrow.
The downloading part is easy.
If Arthur can do it,
2 questions.
Mike
One-
might be able to.
I think you either alluded or you might have mentioned that electric markets are stable, certainly not fluctuating with the way gas is going. But what are the threats to the markets that we're in is my interest.
So the markets that Danvers Electric is in, and
Where we're sourcing.
all right, so as far as, the nuclear threats, those plants are built to run in 18-month cycles and then take a down cycle for refueling. They're incredibly stable. They run 24/7. Aside from a massive black swan event type of national.
Not so much national disaster, but
Yeah.
in terms of price fluctuations. I'm
Oh,
thinking,
yeah,
right,
well,
right.
the nuclear, great then, forget the disasters. Those contracts are locked in for the term of the unit.
Whatever's
right
up
now.
there.
Yeah, so, I mean, and that's it's a fraction of what we would be looking at wholesale prices. As far as price volatility, all these are locked in on different terms. You can see I actually put the terms on all of them, so they vary. The nuclears, again, go out to 2050 when the Nuclear Regulatory Commission had approved them. But we typically, like for hydro contracts, we look for like a 10-year agreement.
So part of that question was because I know you really like that chart, so.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Now, my second question, a little bit more local, is the Northland Substation over by the mall, second quarter, go live. What's up with the trees?
Are you talking about on the corner?
On the corner.
That's the old substation.
The old substation,
Yes, so
what I remember hearing
Yes.
was that when we flipped, that the trees would get cut back to free up
Well, I
that
think it-
dangerous intersection. And then I heard something less committed than that. So I'm trying to see where we are now.
My understanding was that in order to access that old substation, to remove it, there may be some vegetation management that needs to happen. Because they built the trees all the way around the perimeter of the fence, so likely there will be clearing in order for us to remediate that station.
Light vegetation management, is it?
Heavy vegetation management.
Cut back, like to be able to.
I believe the equipment is mostly on tracks, and we're gonna need access right down to the ground in order to access the old substation, so we're gonna have a clear path for that.
I went through there yesterday, it seemed fine to me.
Yeah, you didn't go through that yesterday. But the point that I want to reiterate is that it is hard to take those turns.
Yes. It's
a tough
Right?
spot, yeah.
You know, folks are coming down at a good clip and are particularly trying to make that left.
Yep.
Coming from the bus section to make, it's a dangerous intersection.
Yep.
It would be less dangerous with some foliage removal.
Vegetative management?
Yeah, some vegetation management. That's all, thank you.
Eat your vegetables. Mike, do you have any comments?
No, you can just, I guess, mention to the board the major award that was,
Oh, yeah, that's a good soft, thanks, Mike. Yeah, so recently, the American Public Power Association has deemed the Danvers Electric Division as a diamond level RP3 recipient. So the RP3 stands for Reliable Public Power Provider. It's essentially 40-point evaluation that looks at the healthier utility from basically every facet of the operation. What the diamond status means is you have to be the top 2% when compared to all the other public power utilities, which is a little over 2,000 in the United States. So Danvers Electric is one of the top two, or within the top 2% of that demographic. But thank you, Mike, for bringing that up.
and then,
Despite the wealth of the commission.
that's right. And then,
Breakfast.
can you answer me a question? The last few months, have the Danvers rates been lower than Peabody?
That's correct. That's correct.
You gotta have a diamond.
I think we're even more proud of that.
You gotta have a diamond pin. You gotta boast a little bit. Get a little medallion or something. Good stuff.
Mary?
Is that? No questions, just comment. I've lived in town my whole life, and Danvers Electric has always been on top of the game. And now being a homeowner and having family that live outside of Danvers, realizing how lucky we are in Danvers to have our own electric light department and the rates, I definitely love that bill because sometimes it's under 100, and I'm like, oh, yay! And I utilize Danvers Electric as an example for my oldest, who's looking at some point to buy a house in other communities, and I'm like, look it, this is what you want, because National Grid or anything else, it's a huge expense. So thank you to your team and your department for providing great quality service. So,
Of course, thank you. I'll pass on the kind words to the team.
yeah.
Thanks.
I agree with Mary Beth. I think we should lead with this every year in FinCom hearings because I don't think we celebrate our successes enough, and we should be front and center. Like I think most towns or most people that buy electricity for a living would kill for that chart right there. And a lot's happened in the last 2 years with, like I see it in my day job watching the data center, like the capital raising going on for data centers all over the country. And you read about people's power rates in like New York and Maryland and Pennsylvania and Virginia doubling. What's how does our rate compare to, typical New England ratepayer right now?
So for
For like a resident?
Yeah, for residential, so Danvers Electric, residential customer pays a little over 16.5 cents per kilowatt hour. The national grid customers out there are right now more like 46 cents.
So I hope people listen to that at home. Like, that's a massive, massive difference in what people are paying.
It's funny because he loves this chart, but we get a chart every month that shows, and why I asked him about Peabody is where we are in respect to both the commercial providers, but also with the other municipals. And for some reason, we don't know what Middleton does. We think they just keep the power off all the time over there. But Peabody and Middleton were always below us, and Middleton still is. But Peabody, that's why I asked. I mean, we're literally in the bottom, probably 10 of municipal providers in regards to rates right now. So it's, people in Danvers probably don't realize, even begin to realize how low their bill is. But then you mirror that, or you marry that with the phenomenal amount of service and better and quality of service we have, and it's, you're paying so much less for so much better. And again, Arthur and I have the offices in Topsfield, and it's a national grid, and that thing's out 10 times all winter. If power goes out in Danvers, you come home and your clock's blinking, you want to know what in God's name happened. Did something blow up? Right, so.
You should move back to Danvers, your office.
Can't.
I might suggest that as an April Fool's joke, you tell people we got bought out by National Grid and send them an updated bill.
Thank you.
But I wanted to drill that. So the transmission cost went up by 7.2%, and how does that number compare to what transmission costs were going up annually? Call it 3 years ago, before all the demand for extra power for data centers and the other things came online.
Yeah, so the transmission rates, it was probably, they've been going up, they've been trending upward since the late 2000 teens.
Yep.
They were stable kind of through that. At that time, the independent system operator, the ISO, that is in charge of running the whole New England grid, they were focused on the capacity portion of building out the system, and we pay that as well. The capacity rates were going up every year over year. Transmission was relatively stable. The capacity markets have actually been twisting and turning downward the last few auctions, so it's like a 2 or 3 year auction cycle. But the investment that the ISO is requiring of the transmission owners now is driving this year-over-year transmission cost increase. And basically, it goes to reconducting the transmission lines, redoing transmission line maintenance, putting new lines in. They're anticipating, they'd release a 10-year growth forecast that they're anticipating, 1.5% to 2% load growth system-wide for the next 15 years. So they're trying to keep up with the transmission network and all the customers have to pay for it.
And is that load growth, that is an aberration or significantly higher than it had been for the prior? Because 1.5% to 2% doesn't sound great. Like,
Right.
we look at financial budgets and 1.5%, we'd be excited about that. But so was it flat and now it's starting to go up?
Yeah, exactly. So around the 2014, 15 range, when it's hard to remember, but where you could, like, a LED light bulb cost like $10, and people were still buying incandescents because they're like a quarter. Now you can, LEDs are like, everybody has LED light bulbs. A lot of people use them.
Right.
Efficiencies in everything have gone up. So there was a whole thing back in the
Right, flatlined.
The efficiency implosion. It ate all that load, but there's only a certain, it only can get so efficient before people start using more electricity. So we haven't seen it creeping up very slightly over the last couple budget cycles, but that's what we're anticipating going forward.
Okay. On the power sources, when you say how much are those when we're like contracted out? And I apologize if I should be able to read it. But how much of it is like fixed, like at a fixed rate, and how much of it is at a rate that,
Like with an escalator?
yeah.
So we, as an internal kind of policy, we strive to have fixed rate contracts over, long periods of time. So we try to avoid escalators. Most of these contracts, I would say, with the exception of one solar contract that has a 10-year escalator at the 10-year point because the system degrades and they want to, these are all fixed rate contracts.
Jesus.
So, and though, interestingly enough, if you go back to the Seabrook contract that was negotiated, I think back in the late 70s, that's the rate that we're still paying.
That's wild. That's great. Is the appetite, given what's going on in power right now, or is the appetite for suppliers, or the desire from suppliers to enter long-term fixed contracts less than it was 5 years ago?
We have actually seen a number of the hydro contracts. So like the ones that just came on this year, those 4 that I had mentioned, that is a 10-year term. A couple of our others that were on 10-year terms, they're now requesting we do 5-year.
Right.
So they're not huge chunks like the Brown Bear, and then the First Light right there. So they've kind of shifted over as part of negotiation strategy to go to a 5-year. And part of that is just with everything that's going on, the generators don't know what the market's going to look like in 5 years. So it could go this way or it could go this way depending on the conditions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say other than that's terrific. Like, we're positioned terrifically there. Like, it's great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wally?
And I can't read that at all from here. Can you elaborate? You were talking about your solar array at the landfill?
Sure. Yeah. So like I mentioned, we are still targeting for some point next year. We're still in the capping process now. As the capping and the post-closure use permit through the state are being finalized this year, we plan on coming to the select board, doing like a full presentation about the future of the landfill solar. So stay tuned for that. But there are, Governor Healy just last month announced some exciting news about her. She's really pushing to increase the solar production in Massachusetts. So she wants to see 10 gigawatts of renewable in the state in the next 15 years. For that, she would like to be solar. So she is reaching out to the Solar Energy Industries Association, which is a massive organization that is a big player with all of the big solar developers. And she's working with them to come up with different incentives and different ways to get solar developers interested in coming back to Massachusetts. And a big push for that is like these type of landfill projects and working with towns, working with municipal light plants, because the stability and the credit ratings are really attractive to the developers rather than, what could potentially be like a fly-by-night data center. Who knows what they're doing in 5 years, but we have a good idea what we'll be doing in 5 years. So we're excited about that, but again, we'll be back at Select Board and we'll be doing a full run-through of the status of the program.
Can I ask one more question? Is there any legislative push from the state to make municipal light less good?
Sorry.
Like, I don't know if it was clickbait on Facebook, but I feel like there were like articles like, I don't know, 12 months ago where the state was like, I don't know, sounds like everybody else is jealous.
Yeah.
Is that true? Is that an actual threat? Like, do we need to be mindful of that?
Well, I would, in my educated familiarity with the municipal light plants and the way that we work with the Department of Public Utilities and the Mass State Legislature, we do a good job of working with them. And so when new legislations pop up, like they want to do something to the investor owns, like National Grid and Eversource, we have historically been able to advocate for the not-for-profit municipal light plant model and keep the local control within the towns and keeping a lot of that regulation that they're imposing on the IOUs, keeping the MLPs out of it.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Wally, did you have anything else?
Yeah, and this is probably, or maybe just me. Can you probably explain the calculation for your pilot payment to the town?
Sure. So Roddy might have to refresh me on the actual dates of this, but a number of years ago, the pilot had been fixed for decades. It's calculated based off of our total annual sales, ultimate sales to all rate classes, and it's a calculation based off of that. So it was at one point it was 2.5 mils, so 0.0025. Finance director was checking that 0.0025.
0.25% of kilowatt hours, yep. And then we did a 5-year plan to raise that from 0.25 to 0.5. And then that was followed by another 5-year plan to raise that from 0.5 to 0.75% of kilowatt hours.
What's the maximum that we could go to?
So the maximum profit that can be generated, of which the pilot will be part, is 8% of gross plant value.
So we're way well under that, right?
The pilot itself only represents, in '27, 2% of that 8%.
And then from personal curiosity here, there was some type of failure on Borough Street over the summer?
Oh, yes, there was.
Can you explain
Yeah,
that?
sure.
Just because I have no idea.
Yeah, that was right. Jill just started. Yeah, that was a good introduction. We have.
Trash strike,
Yeah, we actually. So we have the Pond Street substation that's right over by our 2 boroughs in that yard. There's a circuit. So we have a 23,000 volt circuit that feeds that station, and then out of that we have a number of 5,000 volt circuits that come out and feed the neighborhoods. We had a critical failure in a manhole right in the street where I can't remember which failed first, but one failed that was on the top, and when it burned through, it fell on the other one and burned through that one. So initially, we lost that whole substation, which involved 4 of the 5,000 kV circuits and then all of the 23,000 as well. Through our engineering team and line operations, we were able to switch a lot of that out, so we were actually out in the field for hours picking up the load and getting circuits back to the point where we had everybody except for, is irony the right word here, but Borough Street was out, and we had to, unfortunately, it was an overnight outage because the repairs were so significant. Then I believe it was a municipal light board meeting the next morning. The guys are running around, you hear the radios going, and we were able to pick up that circuit and make the final repairs right. Yeah, the manhole was like literally right outside 2 boroughs.
Thanks. That was just a personal question.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, that was
Good job.
That was a good one.
Came
Thank
right
you.
back, yeah.
Questions from the audience? Nova?
Just a quick question. Is the hydropower, I heard you say that, we have 10-year contracts or whatever, but are those affected by droughts? And one other question, do you have a full staff? Like, we hear a lot about the trades, and we can't fill enough people for DPW. Do you have those same issues?
Okay, thank you. So regarding the hydro, there's really 2 types of contracts. We have what's called a run-of-the-river. So that's basically as the water comes down, given the watershed conditions, we get the generation off of it. We model that, and we have an anticipation for what generation we're going to see. But to your point, if there is drought or we have low river conditions, low flow conditions, we will see less output from those. And we also have some pumped hydro type contracts where it's an actual dam that's been designed just to hold the water. So we will pump that up, and we'll operate that during like peak power pricing. So those are more predictable, but certainly the drought can affect the output.
So it affects the output, not the cost?
It can potentially, if not the cost from what we're buying off of it. So that's just a fixed rate per kilowatt hour. Yep. And then the second question, personnel-wise, but it's hard to follow the fire chief and police chief, but we are mostly fully staffed. We still we have 2 openings in our engineering, but we recently received a slew of applicants, so we're kind of combing through those, and we're hopeful that we'll be able to get a couple new employees. Yep.
Oh, Bill. Yes.
Oh, of course.
I was like,
Got to put it all the way up.
Again, me. A couple of questions. When is there an approximate date when the solar farm will be finished? When will it begin being operational? When it is operational and producing power, do we feed it into someone's grid and get a credit for it, or are we actually going to power Danvers with that solar farm? The town has many flat roof buildings. Are smaller units available that would be cost-effective to install on them? And would it, again, would it be feasible or helpful? The big question is cost. Thank you.
So to answer the first question, again, we'll stay tuned for our select board presentation regarding the solar. There's some moving pieces right now, but we are through the state permitting process. That's really the big kind of linchpin. But then we're anticipating rolling forward. Ideally, within next year, we'd like to see that online. The way it's being designed is it will, once it's interconnected to Danvers grid, it will solely feed into our infrastructure. Correct. Whereas we'll get the full output from the array directly into our system for our ratepayers and customers. And then I didn't say we're working on it, but we are. Then the second question was, have we done any kind of a roof analysis for? So we did do that. It was, I think it was 5 years ago now. That was when we did the Schools Go Solar initiative. So we did do a roof assessment with a third-party company for all the town-owned buildings. Essentially, what the report came back is there was 3 optimal sites based on because like the economies of scale. Like developers don't want to come in unless there's enough space to do, a certain size system. We identified those 3 roofs. That was the Smith, Highlands, and high school roofs. So that's what we got the solar panels up there. At the time, it wasn't economically feasible to tackle any of the other roofs because of the equipment on them, the condition, the age of the roofs. But that could be something we could circle back to going forward. All right. Yes, sir.
Anything else? Is there a motion? Oh, no, we're not voting. I knew I was going to do
One
that.
last
Oh,
thing.
I'm sorry, Paul.
Is
Yes.
it possible maybe next year to get, we used to get it, I think, the pie chart. I don't know why we don't have it in this, even if we just get a handout, because it's much easier to see than that. Thank you.
I'll even laminate them.
So they have We'll email that out before warrant week, so that you have it
Great.
before you vote.
Thank you.
And we'll vote on this warrant week.
Yeah. And I just want to take a minute to say thank you because and I actually think it was the chairwoman who asked in my interview about the electric company, and I was quite clear with all of you who were on that panel that I do not have experience running an electric company. Clint, Angelica, the municipal light board, the whole team, the engineers, the line workers, the technicians I've learned so much so quickly in 1 year. Clint has taken me out. We've done a tour of all of the plants. I still have a lot to learn, but I can speak the language now, and I am very grateful to this team. They're incredible at what they do, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Clint.
All right.
And I mean,
There's
great,
the
right?
chart. It's almost legible. It's like just right there.
Well, now on to benefits and insurance. So, yeah, you're right, Ted. We should probably lead with electric because nothing's fun after that, right? Benefits and insurance. As you know, the health insurance went up 9.8%. This is not unique to Danvers. The Maya range, which is our insurance provider, was between 2.9 and 14.4. Total benefits and insurance went up 10.51%. That includes health insurance, dental, Medicare, MedX, and for retirees, which includes school retirees, which is the school retirees represent approximately $4 million a year. Other benefits include Medicare, liability insurance, veterans aid, et cetera. And as we talked about earlier on, I think it may have been Monday night, we funded the OPEB contribution fully through free cash this year in order to be able to maintain the operating budget. We paid the long-term liability through free cash. And select board and town meeting will be voting on that warrant article.
Wally?
I'm good with this one.
Okay. Ted?
So the funding, how much was the total amount that we funded, the OPEB contribution? Was,
It'll be 700,000 in the warrant article, which is a $50,000 total increase over last year. The difference is instead of being split between two funding sources, it's strictly from free cash this year.
and is that the first year we've done that?
It was always
In-
paid
in
from
recent-
free cash. About 3 or 4 years ago, we managed to get half of it into the levy, and now we've been forced to back that out.
And that, correct me if I'm, refresh my memory, that's the catch-up contribution that we're doing, and then
Yep.
about 2035, that drops away?
Yep, so the select board policy is to increase it by 50,000 every year between now and 2035. And 2035, take those resources from fully funding the pension and direct those towards the OPEB liability.
Oh, so then, well, we won't be done, we'll just be spending money on a different funding a different liability. in
Correct.
2035. Okay. On the insurance, is there, I know some of it's driven by changes in Medicare like at the federal level and how things are being funded and how, but I know some of it's due to prescription, like GLP-1 prescriptions. Have we plateaued in usage, or is it like the first year it was 5%, now it's 10%, and it's gonna be 50, like, are we gonna keep seeing 10% increases, or are we gonna get to a point where it's the user base for those products is flatlined and the percentage increases will hopefully start going up?
So unfortunately, I have news that's not great. So this rate reflects the fact that effective July 1st, Blue Cross will not be covering GLP-1s. So this number that you see of a 9.8% renewal, and I'll follow up with the exact number, but something between 4 to 6% on top of that would have occurred had the GLP-1s stayed as part of the Blue Cross insurance portfolio. So both the GIC and Blue Cross and most carriers now are excluding it from insurance coverage moving forward. Which obviously shows that 9.8% unfortunately is probably a trend that we're not going to see come dramatically down,
But,
short of design changes.
Something can't compound 10% forever. Like, I know it's not your fault. Like, and it's not like it hasn't been compounding above CPI for 30 years already.
Yeah, so when we reached out with with Maya, again, they reiterated that the upward trend in utilization, which I think, coming out, now we're several years out of COVID, that should, I would think, plateau at some point. But the rising prescription costs beyond the GLP-1s, and then the higher cost to deliver care, hospital contracts, nurse contracts, et cetera, exploding. Again, I would hope that at some point there's a tipping point, but
Okay. I don't think I'm gonna solve the problem tonight, so I'm done.
Mary?
No, all set, thank you.
Mike?
I mean, wish there was something we could do.
A chunk of that state regulated,
Eric?
It's wild.
Two questions.
They're gonna set the rates the insurance companies can actually claim on.
I think you mentioned, not in this context, but you mentioned plan changes. What variables, with insurance, there's very little control, right? The market is what the market is. But within that, there are a few levers that you have to consider every year in your benefits package, et cetera, et cetera. Can you just talk a little bit about what, as you look down the line, what small levers might there be moving?
I may look to Rodney for a lot of this.
Well, let me throw one at you that I know is probably not on your list of things to do. Percentage of contribution, right, is one way of arriving at it. Like, no one wants to get there, but that's, since I deal with this every year as well, are we going to cover the same 70%, or are we going to drop that to 65 and pass more on to the employees? Like, that's the kind of tough discussions that we have. So I just don't know what else. You don't have to talk on that one. You could talk about something else. But I just want to put that out there in terms of the variables. There's very few that you have that are, and they're all painful.
Yeah, and I think that's the short version, and we have to, in that conversation of any of the variables, whether it's switching plans, talking about percentages, any of the variables, we have to look at it. This board has heard us talk, this committee, ad nauseum about recruiting, retainment of employees. So with all of those
It's not the
variables,
place to go
other side
trimming.
of the equation is, we're still looking to hire and retain and recruit employees. So it's a complicated conversation. Rodney and Jen really carried that before I got here, so we'll be jumping right back into it. Again, we'll be negotiating the unions, and
Every
I know
company.
with the unions all this year. I know this is a top priority for them. We hear them. The expense is affecting all of us. So the conversation's there. We'll talk about all of it. And hopefully somewhere in the market we'll get some relief in the coming years.
And then my last question, and I'm not sure if this is the right words. I'm looking at utilization. The term that's in my mind, if utilization is not the right one, is what the insurance carriers, what we're looking at is for every dollar that we give to insurance carrier, they're spending $1.05, so they don't like us at all. And so, do we know where we?
Yeah, again, I don't have the numbers offhand, but we're not upside down in our medical loss ratio at this point. no.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's what I was looking for. They want to be at 85, right? 85, 85
I would
cents.
say
on
we're
the dollar.
probably a little bit higher than that the past couple of years, but we're not.
Not upside down.
Yeah.
Good. That's the best news we could have.
I mean, is that, and I know, sorry, is that an area where we could gain some advantage if we were able to sort of group together with other municipalities to some extent? I know we're in the MIA.
And that's essentially what we do by being in Meyer. It's a consortium, yeah.
I mean, is there any legislation, in your estimation, that would be helpful on a state level that would be able to provide something to municipalities back on this, or is it?
I'm not sure, because I would assume if the state had levers to pull, I mean, I think I'd forget the number, but the governor's putting more money into the GIC fund, so I assume that they would pursue that if they thought there was a fix.
I mean, the news is worse than that. So the nonprofit sector has been trying for years to get into GIC. Our plan's better than the GIC plans are imploding. It is not the place to be. So I don't know that economies of scale are even helping at this point. The GIC plans are scary, and folks are not happy. There are several hearings at the Golden Dome about that. It's ugly down there. So this is one to watch. It's really a tough place. So that's all.
Paul?
No, Mike just touched on what I was going to ask. I guess not consolidating, but now what is MIIs? Is that who we're with now? How far do they extend? Is that just in Massachusetts? How many of the towns and cities get involved with MIL? Most everyone?
I don't know for health insurance, which he may, because I come from a GIC community originally, but almost everyone when it comes to liability and general insurance. I don't know. I think that most communities are split between GIC and
Technically, still, basically, we have no alternative to go with a bigger, more influential group.
It's
at
the
this
biggest
point.
one.
Yeah, that's right. So, okay, no other questions.
Arthur?
I'm all set.
Questions from the audience? Anything else? Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Okay.
Benefits.
We've got town clerk. The legal budget, I think everyone here knows, we have a new town council this year with Kate Conley. We increased the line item. It's been at the 99,123 for
For 3 or 4 years, yeah.
4 years. We increased it to 125 this year because we saw an increase in expenses. The FinCom approved a FinCom reserve transfer at the special town meeting in February. We're assuming this is a combination between new town manager, new town council, the town manager review, the town manager act and the town meeting act review, took a different level of legal counsel. The trash strike took a different level of legal counsel. So we're hoping to see this level out. But I will say, we were continuing to run analysis leading up to this meeting, and as you know, you transferred, and we will likely see another transfer to meet the need for this current fiscal year.
Wally?
I'm good, thank you.
Ed?
How much of the increase is, like, you enumerated a couple things. When we need counsel on some of these other warrant articles or opinions, like, what does that typically cost?
So I would say this is because of the change, and Rodney, that now I have all the legal bills going through, not just the treasurer and everyone else, but Rodney for analysis. So he can probably narrow it down more, although I don't think he brought it with him, or like has it today, but.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if there's an average, because again, some may be,
Right,
you
they're
know, a couple
different.
days' work, and some may be long draft revisions, but we're examining sort of, yeah, I think we need to do some examination on specifically how big the ask is, and how much of this is, okay, let's go on a call and have a conversation, versus how much of this is, let's produce a 4-page opinion. So I think that, again, is part of the growing with the new team and figuring out where the sweet spot is there.
It's a new team, but the same firm?
Same firm, correct.
Okay.
And we do still benefit from, as we've told the story many years, by being their first municipal client, we still enjoy a very competitive rate compared to if we were to look at other outside counsel outside of our current provider.
That's it.
Mary?
Nothing, thank you.
Mike?
How much of the, so I know most of the stuff that comes out of general government, what the need is for that. Does Murphy Hesse Toomey Lehane provide all of the additional roughly $100,000 worth of work for the utilities, or do we, I know there have been issues in which we've hired outside counsel for the electric light.
Yeah,
That
so,
also
yeah.
does not include the schools, correct?
If schools, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't include the schools.
Yeah, water and sewer is pretty much Murphy Hesse.
And
Oh,
KP
KP does some work, yeah.
I mean, I put my foot in it yesterday, I guess, when I said we should get rid of the library, right? So why don't we touch another one while we're here?
Oh.
At some point,
Let's start the timer.
do we see a benefit? What is the number in your estimation that we'd be able to bring in-house counsel in who would be able to work directly for the town manager?
So we've already started some analysis on this, because I think there's huge benefits to having in-house counsel who are part of discussions from the beginning, particularly development-related discussions. I think it makes for better land use agreements and zoning propositions and all of the above. So we did some initial analysis. I also have spoken to other people who've opened, who kind of started in-house counsel in towns like North Andover. I think a key piece to remember, and I'll give you a number, but a key piece to remember is it's more than just bringing one attorney in. You're
Yeah.
definitely going to have a paralegal at minimum. And so we are thinking it's around $300,000.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I say that, I'm too old to be interested in that job, I know that, so.
We will continue to have that conversation because I think there's a like I said, there's a lot of benefit. One is when you pick up the phone or when you walk to the next office, they're there and they answer, and the resources they provide for the board. They're really Danvers specific, and they're thinking about the risk to Danvers at all times, and they're available at all times. So there's some benefit there, but with costs and budgeting where we are, this was not the year for it, but it will continue to be on the list to discuss.
Thank you.
Eric?
One question. With the model that we have, how do we control costs?
Well, and that's something that Rodney and I have implemented. So again, with the previous council, I didn't work with Dave. He literally brought Kate the day that, but essentially we started the same day. But I think that it was a little bit more informal. So we are having a system now where I'm reviewing what the staff goes to Kate to talk about. And then I say kind of push the lever, don't push the lever. And then Rodney reviews the bills and says, did you tell them to push the lever on this one? Because they did, so we're starting that implementation now because we saw the increase in costs and trying to wrap our head around how much really was those special acts and the trash strike and how much was that there hadn't been these kind of cost controls in the past.
I appreciate you having a quick answer for that. Thank you.
can I ask one question on this? Have you tried to compile a lot of the source documents that are commonly referenced in the opinions and use ChatGPT to give you?
I was gonna say, I don't know that the lawyers.
Sorry,
on
guys.
the committee
Sorry,
know
man. I do
ChatGPT
it. I do it at work, and I love it.
Can you at least use a legal one, not Chat GPT?
I'm not saying make final decisions, but I have those, if you have high-quality source documents, which you typically do in law, and you need quick interpretations of things, I find it extremely powerful and time-saving. I have it read bond indentures all the time.
I will say this.
And they do a good job.
I will say this,
Sorry,
we're not encouraging staff to use ChatGPT as legal advice, but I will say, and Colby can answer more, and when it comes up if you want, but Colby has made sure this organization is on the leading edge of using AI. We introduced an AI policy. We knew, you know essentially people are using it in the organization. You need to build we need to get a handle on that and make sure that they're using it. And one of the things that he recently did, and I'm always looking at him to make sure I say all the words right, but we have we have the two different things. We have the system that will check your source documents and your kind of internal documents, and to protect that, we're also part of a pilot program that makes sure that if they're grabbing from inside inside sources are protected. So we are, I would say, early in the municipal world of discussing AI and using it. We're doing a lot of it. Our administrative staff has really done a lot of deep digging when it comes to compiling minutes and stuff. But no, we have not really gone down the legal alley yet.
Okay.
Just promise us that you won't have a chat bot answering the phones.
Promise. We have Joyce for it's a man.
AI Joyce, yeah.
Where are we?
I think I'm up.
Paul? Yep.
So, just to clarify, we have general government, water division, sewer division, and electric division. Projected budget is $228,851 for the year, coming year, the fiscal year, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, because there was some type of firm mentioned in water and sewer. Is that all part of the one? That's one firm, though.
I know, we were both answering you.
Yes,
So Murphy, Hesse, Toomey, Lahane handles general government,
But
water,
that's that
and sewer.
one group.
Yes,
Okay.
and we have special counsel through KP Law for electric.
Still under the one group? So, we're not looking at another set of fees for another.
No, all under this budget that you're approving.
And then the other question I had was just, you said the Danvers Public Schools has their own lawyer. Is that because it's relative to public education, or?
That's typical for municipalities,
Yeah,
the education
okay.
laws.
So
is quite-
that would be in their budget then?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, that's it.
Arthur?
I would only say as a warning, that if you were going to use AI for legal, first you would need to use a Westlaw or Lexis of specific. Then I would say it's about 85% confidence level, but the 15% could really mess you up. So don't,
Cautionary
be
tale.
very careful about that. That's all I have.
Anything from the audience? Okay.
Move the budget?
Second.
Motion and a second from the lawyers. All in favor, please say aye.
Excuse me? No.
I thought it was Arthur. I heard Arthur.
Don't ever confuse me for a lawyer.
Okay, legislative budget, this speaks for itself, right? This is the moderator's budget, goes up 0%. The select board's budget went up 2.3. The operating expenses related to meals and travel and conferences, meals, that kind of stuff. So hopefully we can get some additional training, and the board has the opportunity to attend those trainings.
Great. Arthur?
All set?
Paul?
All set.
Eric?
Meals? No, I'm all set.
Mike?
No.
Mary?
No.
Ted?
I'm good.
Wally?
All set.
Questions from the audience? No? Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. What?
Is that a joint motion for both?
Yes.
And just,
I think we have to do them separately, actually.
Move on the select board.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimously for both.
And on the training thing, just two quick things. Thank you to everybody who came. We had an open meeting law training on April 2nd. It was incredibly well attended. It was energizing to see how many volunteers in this community are engaged, and our boards can't do it without them. And a great select board showing at that training, and the select board this year has committed to do a board retreat to continue the training. So we are very much looking forward to that in June. Thank you for your leadership on that. Your finance committee reserve is up next. It stays at the typical 125,000.
Great. Wally?
All set?
Ted? Mary?
All set.
Mike?
Good.
No questions.
All set.
Okay. Anything from the audience on FinCom reserve?
Move the question.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
All right, we're moving on to information technology. This is a budget that you will continue to see. I think our discussion about the use of AI for legal is one of the reasons that supports this increase. IT, information technology, is an area we need to be continuing our investment. The more conferences I go to, the more learning. I mean, the way that we're talking about this really in the municipal world is IT is the DPW of the future, really, for municipalities. Our IT department supports 24-hour operations between police and fire and DPW. They're going to be key to finding operational efficiencies and through reimagining our service delivery. Colby and myself, Nick and Rodney are really in the process of launching some initiatives to optimize our IT investments, really looking at the strategic approach to finding efficiencies and then taking it to the next level of operationalizing them. So this team does an incredible job. We are investing in them. I think Colby has some great vision ahead, and to start connecting kind of the departments that work throughout and are really provide customer service to our other departments is key to us moving forward and finding those efficiencies and saving some funds. So that's where you will see some, and if you have questions about some of the specific increases, I will leave most of those to Colby. You will see in yours, there's a new line item titled cybersecurity. It is not a new version of cybersecurity. It is just more accurately, we pulled it out so we can more accurately reflect the investment in cybersecurity. And I'd be remiss if I did not mention the incredible grant strategy out of the IT department. As I said, and if you have questions about it, Colby has us involved in some of the protection around the AI to make sure that our internal documents are protected. And we're a leader in some of the obviously in the regional work that we do. So if you have more questions, it's here.
Arthur?
No, I mean, this doesn't really seem like too much money to be spending in this area, so I'm good.
Paul?
Yes, are we still working with another set of communities? I think we've always been, right?
We are, correct.
How many again? Just refresh my.
We have 7 partner communities.
Isn't that up from a few years ago?
Yeah, that's up 1 from a few years ago.
And who are they?
Marblehead.
Okay, they're the extra, okay. Now, that's a revenue-generating system.
That is correct, yep.
Okay, that's it. All set.
Eric?
I have 10 questions.
You have 3 minutes.
How many users approximately are you all overseeing? I mean,
A little under 400 users we have in our email system.
and does your department also oversee voice over IP phones?
We do, yes.
They were not included in the 400 users, were they, that you just mentioned?
No, the phone system covers schools as well, so that's a much larger user count.
My only point, I suspected that, I think, give yourself some credit for the volume of pieces of equipment that you're managing. And just with your life cycle inventory and all of the stuff that you guys are keeping track of, I agree with Arthur, that it's potatoes. considering that many pieces of equipment that have to be tracked all the time. Thank you.
I'm good.
Not 10 questions.
Mary?
No, all set, thank you.
Ted?
All set.
Walter? No? Questions from the audience? Yes. Go ahead, Bill.
Just a question about the work he does. Again, it's me. With the different boards, he supplies the electronic, I guess to you, are all of the boards satisfied, or if they have an issue, are you able to help them? I occasionally go to a board meeting and listen. They seem to be very satisfied with what the town is doing with the computers. You keep up with it. Are they all satisfied?
100%.
And I know you're working on it.
Well, while Kobe's getting up there, this is an important time to say thank you to DCAT and their partnership with our IT department. What we're able to do, and Colby and I have talked about kind of some next steps in this area. We're able to do that because of the partnership with DCAT, so thank you to the team behind the door there and the team across the street.
Yes, absolutely. I would say that there's always room for improvement, but we hope that people are pretty satisfied with our services. But we are always working on it.
Anything else? Nova?
Just a quick question about the cybersecurity. I know that this has been an ongoing use, but did we used to pay for it out of free cash? Is that how it used to be paid for? Because I don't see it coming out of a different line. It's just added in as the 95,000, but I feel like we used to fund it differently.
Sure. Most of that actually came out of the software line item, but there were some additional costs that we added to the software line item, so it's not an even reduction, yeah.
Anything else? Is there a motion?
Move the budget.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Just kidding. It's Rodney's turn. We're going to go through the finance departments, and he's going to take us through it.
All right. Through you, Mr. Chairman, first up, we have the accounting division. Thank you. And our town accountant, Heather Russo, is here. I'll give her a second to come in. Again, a level fund on the operating expenses, and the salary and wages increases due to contractual obligations. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from any board members? Any questions from the audience?
Move the accounting.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
There you go.
Passes unanimously.
Coming.
Thanks for
Thanks for
spending
coming.
your evening with us, Heather. Have a good drive home. All right. Next up, we have the assessing budget. A slight decrease in salaries just based on some staff turnover in the office, and a small increase in operating expenses due to some contractual items. If there are any heavy questions related to assessing processes, John LaBelle is, I believe, in Myrtle Beach golfing right now instead of being here, so he apologizes for not being here. He will be at the Warrant night, so if there are any questions relative to new growth or assessing philosophy, he'll be happy to answer those, but I'm happy to answer any questions on the budget itself.
He's not in Myrtle Beach because it's a conference, is it?
No, he is on his own dime, Edmund.
Any questions from the committee?
None here.
Questions from the audience? Is there a motion?
Move the budget.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next up, we have the treasurer collector budget. Myself, we also have our assistant treasurer collector / assistant finance director, Nick Navin, who can answer questions on this budget. Salary and wages increase, contractual. The operating expenses, you'll see a decrease. So last year, if you remember, we introduced an increase to printing based on a quote we received from our bill printer. The treasurer collector, Jill Summit, pushed back on that and was able to get them to waive off that price increase. So we've backed that off this. So kudos to her, and that's a back off of this year's budget.
Terrific. Anything from the committee? Anything from the audience? Is there a motion?
Move the budget.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
All right.
Now we come to the payoff.
Next up, we have our FY27 debt service budget for the general fund. You'll see an overall decrease of $514,000. You will notice, it's displayed on the table, we are level funding the amount we're taking out of debt stabilization. Again, this was not something ideally we'd like to do this year, but it was necessary in order to get to that bottom line balanced budget. The key item coming off this year is some middle school debt. Part of that was replaced by the way we structured the Smith School, so you'll see an increase on the Smith School debt, but overall a net decrease of $514,000 between principal and interest. I'm happy to take questions.
Ollie?
Landfill debt?
What's that?
The landfill debt?
There is no landfill debt.
Okay.
So that 4.5, if you remember, a couple years ago, we paid off through free cash.
Okay, still in our pie chart.
How much more money is in the debt stabilization fund?
Give me one.
Like,
sec.
is there?
We've added to it
contribution
due to
every
the
year?
landfill, yeah. So due to the landfill contribution, it's actually gone up the past couple of years despite our use of it. I can get you the exact number. 1 second.
So where we'll really see the landfill business closing down shop is, we'll start, if we keep making debt stabilization payments like we are, we will see that fund diminish rapidly in the next few years.
Short of us, which we normally do, supplement it from free cash regardless of the landfill project. But yes, if we were into a position where we weren't generating enough free cash to supplant it, then yes, we would draw down that fund. The FY27 projection is it'll close the year with roughly $6.4 million in the debt stabilization. That's contingent on the appropriation we have as a warrant article.
That's it for me.
Eric?
Nothing, thank you.
Mike?
Just as far as where we're at in the future moving forward, that 5.6 number, will that go down slightly next year, or are we going to see it bump up a little bit as we deal with the mechanisms of how we've done our debt?
Actually, that's a good segue if you want to look at the chart. Of how
Oh,
we've
yeah,
done our
thank
debt.
you. I was looking for that chart.
The middle school was the biggest piece falling off for the next few years.
Okay.
As you can see, so just to walk you through this chart, the blue is total existing debt. The red is what our long-term plan is, that roughly $1 million a year. So again, every couple of years, we'll have a Riverside roof or a Highlands roof or a piece of fire apparatus. So we build that into our long-term planning. This does not factor in any type of major items like public works or a library in this projection. But as you can see, it's pretty much a solid line due to the way we borrowed some of the larger projects over the past few years.
What's that end date on the end over there, way on the right?
2040, or 2042, I believe. It's a
What is it on the
15-year
left,
chart.
27?
47, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
2040.
That's it, thank you.
Eric?
No, that was my question. Thank you.
Paul?
So we're never going to get rid of this. I mean, basically, it's there. I mean, I guess I don't want to ask that question. But okay, well, anyway, I see a lot of debt with schools. If you look at the schools, and that's where, I don't know, from when this all started back in around 2000, with the middle school, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we decided that we were going to take out debt, and that's where it is. Once that's gone, which is a long time, when do we get rid of things like the Smith School, as an example?
Sure. So the Smith School is through 2019 and through 2021. Again, just pull up the chart just to answer Wally's question again. So that we do have some landfill debt related to some closure and extraction back from 2010 and 2014. So that's the piece of the pie chart you'll see in there. Yeah. So again, the Smith School we have through 2040 for the first chunk, the large chunk,
Yeah.
and 2051 for the second chunk.
Okay.
The first chunk, again, because of the favorable rates, we were able to borrow that on declining, but most of these long-term school projects, which the committee's talked about before, were borrowed at level debt over 30 years. So we will get into situations where we're doing HVAC repairs on these schools while we're still paying the debt service from the original build.
Bill? If favorable conditions allow, then you try to refinance it, correct?
Yep, so we refinanced coming out of COVID around 6.5 million. That was the high school project. We have a couple, so hold on, because that was a question that came up that we got some information from Hilltop, our financial advisor, this morning as well. Yeah, so first of all, when we borrow debt, you can't call it for the first 10 years, generally speaking, so we couldn't refinance for the first 10 years. The two items that are on the horizon that we could even contemplate, one is in 2014, $4.5 million outstanding. I don't have the projects associated with it. Right now, if we were to refinance with today's market versus the interest rate we borrowed at, we could potentially save $75,000. We'll be paying more than that in the cost to actually do the sale. The next one that would be on the block to take a look at, in 2027, we'd be able to call 6.5 million that was borrowed in 2017. So again, as we approach that mark, we'll see what the rate market is. But again, as we get further out, some of these projects that we did borrow over the past few years, the interest rates were dirt cheap. So it's unlikely that we'll be able to refinance into a better rate, but we examine it always.
But we went through a fairly active building programs with the schools. And I think we probably aren't going to see that again in that, I don't think, at least, in my time. And I plan to be around for a while. So at some point, the town's going to get some relief, I would imagine, unless we build a new library, something like that.
Arthur?
I'm all set.
One more.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
No.
Thank you.
I'm good.
Anything from the audience? Nova?
This is still on.
I'm just curious to know what our total outstanding debt stands at.
That's a really good question. If you give me a couple minutes, I can get that for you.
Millions and millions and millions and millions.
So our total outstanding debt as of the close of FY '25 is 89 million, and that includes water and sewer and electric as well.
90 million.
That number is not a cause of concern for rating agencies at all, right?
No, and even our
think
debt, so again, something we've talked about before, even our debt profile, so, I mean, the debt, it makes up roughly 5 or 6% of our budget, which is well under any best practice. The problem is not necessarily the debt, it's the fact that we don't have the levy capacity to absorb new debt. That's the concern.
Thank you.
Great point.
Anything else? Is there a motion?
Move the budget.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Hi,
Thank
Corey.
you. And Corey Grace, our Retirement Board Administrator, is here. We're looking at the Danvers retirement system now. This is our appropriation for FY '27. It's going up close to 8%, which is our actuarial evaluation plan to be fully funded by 2035. The budget was already voted on by the Retirement Board a couple months back. 7% assumed rate of return, it's on schedule to be fully funded by 2035. Just to give you some stats, we're roughly $192 million in net assets as of the close of calendar year '25. And in calendar year '25, we earned 13.8% return on the investment. Happy to answer any questions there as well.
Arthur?
I'm good.
Paul?
All set.
I'm interested in how many members in the system, or what the census looks like, current and projected, right?
Well, I honestly can't answer projected. I'm not equipped to answer that. Currently, we have, between town and school, we have over 1,100 and that's including retirees, active members, and then we have a small amount of inactives, so that may have been people that either have worked for 3 or 4 years or under 10 years and didn't retire and they've left their money with us, undecided on whether or not they would stick with the municipal field. If they take a refund, they have to start all over again. So we advise a lot of people who are going out, just make that decision wisely before you take your refund. But as far as projected,
So, follow-up question. 5 years ago, did we trend up? Did we trend flat or?
Pretty flat.
Flat,
Yeah.
that's helpful.
It seems, I've been in the department for almost 3 years now, and the numbers really haven't changed a lot. You may bounce a little for less members, but more retirees for a short amount of time.
Sure.
But it really doesn't change a lot.
That's all. Thank you.
Mike?
Thanks, Corey.
Oh, nothing. Thank you.
Ted?
The assumed rate of return, have we lowered that twice in the last 10 years or
We've-
once?
I think more than twice, actually. I believe it was a little under 8 when I first started. That was about 8 years ago. Went from 7.75 to 7.5 to 7.125 2 years ago, and then 7% the last time. That's probably, again, I won't speak, at the retirement board as a whole, we'll have to decide that, but I don't anticipate, we'll estimate that number further below 7.
Okay. Where can you see how the assets are invested?
Yeah, I mean, we can provide that information, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, how the assets are.
Sure. So right now, and I can get a little bit deeper in the weeds, but 53% is in equity, 13% in fixed income, 32% in alternative, and that includes private equity and real estate. And now we most recently invested 4% of our portfolio in infrastructure as well.
Okay. And do you know how much of the equity is passive?
We have a good amount, I don't know the breakdown, but we have some active managers, but we actually, as a board, have been reviewing that and looking at, discussion points, white papers, and just our own, and our investment consultant saying that the bang for the buck on active isn't really been playing out, so,
Yeah, we should chat. I might.
We only have 2 active managers.
Okay.
currently.
All right. That's all. Thank you very much.
Ollie?
I'm good. Thank you, Corey.
Anything from the audience? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Thank you.
Passes unanimously. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to our staff is incredible. Thank you to the Finance Committee and the Select Board for your support on my first budget in the town of Danvers.
Yay.
Some really tough decisions, but I think we put together a good budget, and we have a good year ahead of us with a lot of hard work.
Great. Look forward to reconvening with everyone on Monday, April 27th, for warrant review.
Be here.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Sir.